What is going on, guys, and welcome to my Week 11 GBA match. This one is against Mulvone 19 and the Cincinnati Loudreds. So we had to play this one on Showdown yet again because there was some complications. Apparently he was playing on a new game, so he actually didn't have the Mega Bracelet yet, so he wasn't able to use his Mega Manectric the first time we tried to battle. So then we decided to move it over to Showdown, and yeah, so we had to do it here. But it's really no big deal. I don't really care, honestly. So looking at his team, I actually have a really good matchup against his team. I noticed that Mega Sablay does actually really well against a majority of his things. His Weavile could definitely be a threat. Ice Shard is almost able to take out Breloom without Stealth Rock damage. And then I can OHKO with Mach Punch, so that's the idea with Breloom. And then essentially, yeah, he's got the Dusknoir, which can be pretty bulky, but I'm really not afraid of it because of Sablay. He has the Fortress, which can set up things, but if I get Sablay out there, really not that big of a deal. The Landorus can definitely be a problem. It could be a potential Choice Scarfer. It just can come in with Intimidates and, you know, just a good switch into Darmanitan and shit. Then he has the Gastrodon, which is a new addition to his team. We battled week 2, but I think he got Gastrodon since then. But I brought Breloom for Gastrodon, and I guess that should cover that matchup. I mean, I'm really not afraid of this thing. It doesn't have much offensive presence. And then he has his Mega Manectric, which can be really fast, can be really scary, but I do have Scarf Darmanitan, which can OHKO that thing really easily and outspeed. So on my team over here, yeah, like I said, I do have the Breloom. I have Porygon 2, which is able to take care of the Landorus. I can come in, be able to trace his Intimidate ability, take any attack, and then fire off pretty powerful Ice Beams in return. I then have Mega Sablay, who is pretty much wired to take care of the Mega Manectric and really just kind of any offensive threat on his team. Then I have Scarf Darmanitan, who really just comes in and he's just like the nuke button, you know, he just hits Flare Blitz. Then we got Slowbro, aka Paul. He's the pretty much just physically defensive movesets with Calm Mind. There's really not a whole lot to do with Paul. I just feel like he would be pretty useful on this team against the Landorus, and you know, it takes care of a lot of things. But then we have Claydol, who I just wanted to bring Claydol. Honestly, again, I felt like he was probably going to lead off with his Mega Manectric, seeing as he wants to get his Mega off as soon as possible. That means Claydol being a ground type is actually a really good lead against the Mega Manectric, considering he can't hit me with a Volt Switch or really anything unless he has like Hidden Power Ice, and I can set up free Stealth Rock. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So I decided to lead off with Claydol as he leads off with his Mega Manectric as planned, which is really nice. So he leads off with his Electric Dog, and he realizes he doesn't have anything to hit me with on the first turn. He might have Hidden Power Ice, but it's probably not worth it for him, risking his Manectric taking damage. So he just switches directly into his Fortress, as that allows me to get up my free Stealth Rock, which is really cool. And I don't know why the move animations are coming out like boxes like that, like when Stealth Rocks come up on my side. So he goes for the Stealth Rock on the switch as I go into Sablay. So I just decided to go into Sablay because he can't do any rapid spin shenanigans, and that allows me to get my free Mega up. So Sablay turns into a Mega, get my big ass Jewel out, and I go for the Will-O-Wisp. So that's going to, honestly, I just went for the Will-O-Wisp essentially because nothing on his team really wants to be burned necessarily. So he actually ends up going for the Volt Switch there, and it's kind of unfortunate that I was faster because now he's able to bring in Manectric for free, and I really have no reason to not switch into Claydol here. I just decided, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, Claydol is kind of planned for this Manectric, so I'm going to bring out Claydol here as he ends up going for the Flamethrower, I believe. So him going for the Flamethrower pretty much shows me that that's the only attacking move that he is able to do damage on Claydol with, so that doesn't do a whole lot, and Claydol's looking pretty nice over here. Is he actually shows the Signal Beam, which is going to do a little bit more damage, but luckily this Claydol's a fucking beast, and that allows me to set up my Reflect. So I decided to go for the Reflect because I was kind of afraid of the Weavile and the Landorus, so I felt like Reflect was probably the better play there, but I kind of wish I went for the Light Screen. But he's able to then kill Claydol, as this allows me to go into Dembrowse, as I'm just going to kind of scare this thing out with a Flare Blitz. I know he's going to want to switch. It's this early in the game. He's not going to leave his Manectric in being fancy, so I just decided to go for the U-turn as he brings in the Dusknoir. So Dusknoir is not going to take any damage from that, but it's really nice because this allows me a free matchup into Mega Sablay against this thing, and Dusknoir literally has nothing to do to Mega Sablay. Sablay just does extremely well against his team, so it's my goal to kind of keep this thing healthy. So the Dusknoir is actually going to switch the hell out of here because he realizes that my Ghost is way scarier, and he's going to go straight back into the Fortress. So he's going to take that Stealth Rock damage, and I believe it, yeah, just go for the knockoff, which is going to get rid of his leftovers. Does a little bit of damage, but I really don't have anything else to do at this point. I mean, nothing really wants to switch into this Fortress. I know that he can't really hurt Sablay, so I just decided to stay in here. I went for the knockoff again, actually predicting a switch, but then I was like, wait, he has Volt Switch, so I guess that was kind of stupid. It doesn't really matter. It's my really only attacking move other than Sucker Punch on this thing. So yeah, he brings in the Manectric now, and Sablay honestly does really well against this. I decided to test it, and his Thunderbolts does not do a whole lot of damage to me at all, and that allows me to get up a recover. And if I just continue to recover, I honestly just can get like all my health back, and his Thunderbolts just literally do nothing. So I go for the Sucker Punch just to get a little bit of damage. I am intimidated from the Mega Sablay, so didn't do a whole lot, but he is now going to go ahead and Volt Switch, as he is going to save his Mega Manectric for later. But now I realize that Sablay is just causing him a whole lot of problems. So now he's going to go into his Landorus. He's going to get another Intimidate on me, and I'm like, okay, I got to get the hell out of here because I'm not going to be able to hurt it at all, and I really need to save Sablay. So here I decide to go into Seizure. I'm able to trace his Intimidate, get it right back to him. He's now afraid of a little rubber ducky, which is kind of embarrassing, but I don't judge Landorus. So he actually goes for the U-turn, which is really unfortunate, but this is now going to allow him to bring in Weavile, and I know that Porygon 2 has a decent matchup against the Weavile, considering that I am physically defensive. I mean, even a low kick can't take me out, but I really don't have anything in return to hit the Weavile with. My Reflect wore off just before this turn, so that's really unfortunate. I decided to save Seizure for later, and here I think I switch into Slowbro. Yeah, so I go into Slowbro. I know he's going to go for the knockoff, honestly, but there's really nothing I could do. I was sitting there weighing the, I was just kind of looking at what's more useful on my team at the time, and I felt like Seizure was a little bit more useful than Slowbro, so I decided to sack off Paul, which is sad to say, but Porygon 2 needed to live because it does really well against his Landorus and that shit. So I decided to make the audible, the quick audible there, and I saved Porygon 2, but Slowbro bit the dust, which is unfortunate. But this lets me go into Dem Browse, which I can just kind of scare that thing out with. I actually just go for the U-turn because it would have killed the Weavile anyway. So U-turn is going to do a little bit of damage to the Dusknoir. Unfortunately, though, Darmanitan's taken way too much Stealth Rock damage, and that really kind of blows because I just need that thing. That thing does really well against this team. It outspeeds everything, and barring like the Landorus and the Gastrodon, it does pretty damn well. But I decided to bring in Sablay and against the Dusknoir just because I know I'll be able to get like a free recover, and health is what I definitely need at this point. So he's going to go into his Fortress. He seems to be switching in the Fortress in on Mega Sablay just because I really don't have a whole lot that it can do to him, but he doesn't really need his Fortress at this point. It got up its Stealth Rock, and it's kind of just there to die at this point. I go for a Sucker Punch, get a critical hit, but it knocks it down to 4 HP, and that allows him to get a little bit of a Volt Switch. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but unfortunately for me, that Fortress is going to be able to switch in later and just die to Stealth Rock, so it's like kind of a little Death Fodder switch for him, so that's kind of shitty. But he brings in the Gastrodon now, and I know that his idea is probably going to be wanting to like Scald me and try to get a Scald burn. So he goes for the Scald. Luckily, he doesn't get the burn on the first turn, and I was like, oh, thank God. And that allows me to get a nice little knockoff. And I'm like, hey, Gastrodon, knock it off, bro. I'm sick and tired of you always spitting hot water at me. Here, I decide to make a little bit of a risky play, and I go into Breloom on the incoming Scald because I know I'll be able to take it, and I'm just hoping for no burn. And he actually doesn't get the burn, so the Scald is not going to do a damn thing, luckily for me. And this allows me to go for just a Spore, as he's actually going to go back into the damn Fortress and just going to die to Stealth Rock, which is actually really good to him. Good for him, considering now he has the ability to switch in whatever he wants against my Breloom. So that's kind of a bummer for me. I really kind of wish I didn't switch into Breloom there, but I just did not want to risk Sablay getting burned because I know how useful it is. So he now goes into Mega Manectric and is able to just hit me with a Flamethrower, seeing as that I really don't have anything that wants to switch into Mega Manectric at this point. I mean, Sablay really just did not have enough health to come in on a Flamethrower and then another T-Bolt, so I had to let Breloom bite the dust there, which is pretty unfortunate. But now he's going to go for a Volt Switch, and I know I can take any attack that he wanted to throw at me. So I believe I just went for the Recover, as he's just going to go straight back into his Gastrodon. So taking that Stealth Rock damage, and I just get a nice little Recover up, which puts me at 62%, which is really nice. And at this point, I can kind of just keep recovering, as he's actually just going to recover himself, which is like, hey, so I see the game you want to play, Gastrodon. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp just to get continual damage. I knocked off his leftovers, so it's just going to be racking up, and I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to kill this Gastrodon at this point, so I felt like the burn was pretty useful. He goes for another Scald and actually doesn't get the burn again, and I was like, wow, I'm getting really lucky on not getting Scald burn today. That's fucking amazing. But that allows me to get up another Recover, and that puts me at almost full HP, and I'm like, you know what, alright, we're saving Sablay then. So I decide to go into Porygon 2. I know I can take a Scald from this thing and actually trace its Storm Drain. Oh yeah, that's why. Okay, so I switched into Seizure. I was sitting here weighing my options, and I was like, what can I do against this Gastrodon? I was like looking at my team, and I was like, hold up, Seizure has fucking Trace. If Gastrodon is going to have the Storm Drain ability, as they usually do, I can actually just trace its Scald, get a nice little special attack boost, And that is what Seizure did there. I should have done that honestly long ago, probably before I let Breloom die, which is a real unfortunate mistake on my end, but I just did not see the Storm Drain until I was sitting here for a long time on that last couple turns, kind of thinking about what to do. So that's really nice. I'm able to trace the Storm Drain. I get hit with a Scald, which raises my special attack, which is amazing. And here I'm just going to go for, I believe I go for an Ice Beam on just like the weird off chance that he might switch into like Landorus or something. I don't know. I just felt like Tri Attack isn't going to kill it anyway, so I just went for the Ice Beam. I don't know. So he's able to then get a Toxic on me, which is kind of shitty. Porygon out here with a nice little Toxic boost. Or not Toxic boost, a fucking special attack boost, but Toxic, so I'm going to be getting knocked down, which is really unfortunate. But I'm able to kill the Gastrodon with a Tri Attack, which is actually pretty sweet. So down goes that thing, and unfortunately Toxic is starting to whittle down my Ducky here. He's now going to bring in Weavile, and since I am physically defensive, kind of built to handle this Weavile, I know I can take an attack from it, so I just decide to stay in. His knockoff is going to do a lot of damage, gets rid of my Eviolite, but in return I can hit this thing with a nice little Tri Attack, and down goes the Weavile. So Porygon did a pretty good job, killed two things, so at this point I'm like, hey, good job Porygon. I should have switched you into that Scald a lot earlier, but you know, what are you gonna do? So Seizure goes down. At this point all I have left is Darmanitan and Mega Sablay. He goes into the Manectric here as I'm gonna think about it, and I decide to go into Sablay. He's gonna get hit with the Stealth Rocks. He's at the point where a Sucker Punch is really close to being able to kill it. After the Intimidate, it's not quite going to happen, but he hits me with a Thunderbolt and actually gets the Paralyze there. So that was really unfortunate as I go for the Will-O-Wisp. These next couple of turns are really crucial. So he got a Paralyze on his Thunderbolt, which I haven't even seen happen in a really long time. But I would be able to go for the Recover then after this next turn. It would put me at about this much health, and I would get a lot back. My recovers essentially do like twice as much as his T-Bolts do. So I could sit here and recover all day until his Manectric dies from burn, and then I have a really good matchup against his Dusknoir and his Landorus. If I was at a decent amount of health, I would be able to Will-O-Wisp the Landorus, or even just fire off knockoffs and Sucker Punches to the point where I might be able to take care of it, but unfortunately he does get the Paralyze on Sablay. So this next turn he's going to hit me with one more Thunderbolts, and I believe, yeah, I get Parahaxed here. So I'm unable to move after that Thunderbolt. And that is pretty much going to seal the game. I was clicking Recover. Had I been able to get the Recover up, the next turn after that his Manectric would have died. Probably would have went for another Recover, but I guess hacks happens in Pokemon. It really does. You know, you can't take this shit seriously, honestly, but yeah, shit happens. So he's going to go ahead and die to burn. At this point, all I have left is Darmanitan, and this allows him to just switch into his Landorus, who can pretty much eat up a Flare Blitz. And actually, it comes pretty damn close to doing almost enough to kill it. So check this out. He's going to get the Intimidate. Had he not gotten the Intimidate, it actually would have died. So Flare Blitz is going to hit this thing, knocks it down to 10%, but in return, he is able to kill me with an Earthquake. So that is the end of the match there. That Paralyze really fucked me. He didn't have any answer for Sablay, but, you know, whatever. I don't take this shit seriously anymore, so it's kind of just like, whatever. But really good match. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.